This is the Sprint 1 summary. So what I'm going to do in the game development here, rather than take up time in our meetings, is every 2 weeks on a Thursday I will be creating 2 videos. The first video is what did I get done in the last sprint, or what did we as a team eventually get done in the first sprint, or the sprint we just finished. And then the second video will be what are we planning for the next sprint. Now the second one we may actually do in the meeting. It'll depend. The sprint 1 was building basic gameplay, internet multiplayer gameplay. Sprint 2, these are foundational sprint goals, and why I call it that is it's things I need to get done basically before we'll be developing games as a group. The second sprint was simple gameplay elements for a DJ set in MOOS, and what that means is I wanted to test some things out to say, what if we wanted to do an Oasis type dance kind of thing in the software I'm building? What kind of features will be easy? What kind of features will be hard? And developing some of those basic features. Things like media players, my special effects, that type of thing. The third sprint is the environment and documentation for adding 3D assets and building levels. That's basically how are we going to get everything set up, and how will we work together between the 3D artists of the group and level builders and the programmers. So basically, how will we all work together, and how we'll use Unreal Engine to do that. The fourth thing is not quite as foundational as the other 3, but I felt like I needed to get it done before we really delve deeply into gameplay. It's advanced character elements, and so its ability to take the character, which is poser based or DAS based, take that character and morph their appearance in the game. So, give them a bigger nose, change the size of their jaw, make them fat, make them skinny, whatever, whatever you wanted to do to change the appearance. How do you change their clothes, changing their clothes in the game? Wear a different shirt, wear a different pair of pants. Persistence, once you've gone ahead and made changes to your character, you need to be able to store that character and bring them back. And so that'll be the first time we talk about building a database that will be part of the game that will store changes. So there we go. That's foundational sprints. Sprint 1, the goals I'd set up for myself were just the basic multiplayer session-based client-server game framework. So can you play a game with 2 people? By play a game, can you run around together, basically, as it amounts to. And I was able to get that done. It needed to be local LAN or playable over the internet via Steam. Now, eventually, we're going to be hosting it through Steam. And so I set up the basic Steam functionality that had to be there for that. So the local LAN is for testing primarily. So it allows you to test, if you need to test things like replication. If I make a change, does it get to the other person's client? So primarily that'll be what programmers use. The Steam side of it is how I want to test across the internet with a different user, or all of us could join the game via Steam if we wanted to. Maybe we'll even have our meetings there someday. The third major thing I did was start making the Poser Unreal Portal POP components playable in multiplayer. POP, as I've talked about before, was the game I built for Smith Microsystems based on top of Poser. Basically, it would work on top of the DAS assets as well, at least some of them. Those if you don't know about Poser and DAS, They're a 3D character, basically. They're environments where you build a scene like you would inside a Sansar or whatever, except you couldn't share it with anybody. All you could do is just use it for yourself. And then you could go ahead and take pictures of your character and pose it differently. You could animate it. You could take little movies of it and so on. So it's kind of it's been around for a long time. Both of them have. And I am using their character set because there's some real, I think, benefits for that, and I will make another video just on that later on to give you my reasoning for why I think that's a good idea. The things that I needed to get done with that was, first of all, I had an in-game user interface menu subsystem that I had to get working, and that is the way that a player interacts with the system in terms of doing things like changing clothes or going from level to level, traveling, that type of thing. So in a lot of ways, Sansar did it outside of the game. You jump to either the codex or you jump to change your character. With MOOS right now, it's inside of the game itself. Change the basic character subsystem functionality. And that was done. And basically what that is, can the characters navigate in the world? Can you see the other person moving in the world? Can you change a character, what they look like? Can you change your avatar, basically? Can you change animations in the game and emotes? And emotes are just basically animations or poses of the face. And can you travel to different levels? The character, I want to point, is a poser character, and so what it is it's a poser character that you see animations. And so, for example, you'll see I can run the character around and using my WASD keys, and some of that was out of the box with Unreal, but I'm not using the Unreal mannequin because I want to use the poser characters, and so I had to develop my own underlying navigation and what are called blended animations. So like if I press a W character, the character goes from his idle state into a run state. Or if I press the space bar, he jumps, that type of thing. So those are all done and working. And the last thing that Ari basically proposed we get done right away, and I think it's a good thing we do, is we added source control for MOOS using GitHub. So that's going to allow us to, if you make the changes, when you decide it's ready to move it up into a repository that it moves it to a repository on your PC for temporary storage or for local storage, and then be able to propagate it up to the GitHub central site. In the cloud, so you can share it with other people. So Ari, for example, could download what I made changes to and start playing with it. Or eventually we'll do that for all of us, and including, so if you change a level, you'll do the same thing. But that was done. So that's basically Sprint 1. I thought it was fairly successful. I've got here as a quick demo, I've gotten 2 sessions opened up. I could open up as many as I have the ability to in terms of my PC. So I'm going to host a game. And to host a game, that means I'm going to really launch a server. I'm going to launch a server and a client. So this basically, when I say host a game, it launches a server kind of behind the scenes, but then it also loads a person or a client into the game. So you'll see game 1. I'm going to host it. And there it did. It hosted the server's running. And then it also put a character, and this is a client now. Server's running in the background. Now I also can click join. And what join does is it uses what's known as the online subsystem of Unreal. And since this is running on the LAN, I've got it running on the LAN versus Steam. Now, if it was on Steam, the thing about Steam is you can't test it on the same PC. You have to use 2 PCs, and then you couldn't see it, what I'm trying to show you. So I'm running it on the LAN to show you this. The select game 1, and if there's more than, down the road, it's using the Steam, it's using the lobbying system. So if you had 10 different players start a game, hosting it, running on their PC, these would all show up here, and they could select which one to go to. So this in a lot of ways is a like you'd see inside of something like Fortnite. So there it goes. It's going to go launch it, and there he is. So there goes the second character. Now, as you know, this is Andy, and Andy is kind of a generic skeleton. And the reason I'm using this is to encourage people when they first come in to select a character, so they don't want to run around looking like this all the time. So this is the basic. First of all, I talked about the inline or the in-game user interface, and that's what's over on the right-hand side. This left-hand side here where it says play and volume, that's just something I was doing for level 2, and it won't be there in the game as soon as I finish level 2. It'll be something you'll select from the right-hand side menu. Now, you see the right-hand side menu. What it is on the top is buttons. So as you see right now, it's at figures. So it's avatars. If I click here, it's poses, and it changes to poses. And so this means behind the scenes, there's a couple things going on. There's a menuing system that I've written, that I wrote for Pop. And there's also the inventory system behind the scenes that is changing the what's inside these panels. I could have expressions, I could have props, and so on. So, and I also, just so you say, I can hide it, get it out of the way, I can bring it back. So let's say here, you're going to see let's move the camera on the second one. I can change a character. I talked about that. I can change the avatar. And you see how it changed down here. That's called replication. That was the hardest thing I had to do, is figure out how to get all that working across, because none of that was available in the obviously the single player, because you didn't have more than one player. And then, so it works both ways. So that was that client doing it, and here I changed to Roxy, and you've seen that. Now, I can animate, and then make sure that thing here, it's animating here, but you can see it's animating there too. So that, again, that's another example of replication working correctly. So basically, that's what I got working in the first. I can go change. Let's go change him to back to this, and he can go run around and jump. So there you go. That's all. Sprint 1.